Hello there, my name is Thiago and this is Inglês Everywhere, the podcast that helps you improve your English. I want to invite you to join me every week to take you to the next level, listening to all kinds of content, stories, interviews, chats, and a lot more. Welcome to Inglês Everywhere. Olá, ouvintes do Inglês Everywhere. No episódio de hoje, eu assumi o desafio bem grande de fazer uma biografia resumida de Michael Jackson, até porque eu sou um grande fã do artista. No entanto, eu já quero pedir desculpas para os fãs por eu não ter incluído muitos fatos importantes da vida dele, já que sua biografia é bastante extensa e complexa. Ainda assim, eu acho que através da minha pesquisa eu consegui pincelar alguns dos principais eventos da vida de Michael Jackson. Vamos agora então às 3 palavras que eu selecionei para vocês. A primeira palavra selecionada é siblings. Siblings significa irmãos. No entanto, é uma palavra que a gente usa em inglês com gênero indeterminado. Então, eu não sei se eu estou me referindo ao gênero masculino ou ao gênero feminino. Tá? Então, se eu faço a pergunta How many siblings do you have? É uma pergunta bem genérica. Ao invés de eu falar How many brothers and sisters do you have? Então, eu uso a palavra siblings. Eu também poderia falar I have 4 siblings. E quando eu falo 4 siblings, você não sabe exatamente quantos são do gênero masculino e quantos são do gênero feminino. Na biografia, vocês vão ouvir a seguinte frase. Jackson joined his siblings when he was 5 years old. A palavra seguinte que eu escolhi é um substantivo que é fad. Fad significa mania, modismo ou novidade. Vocês vão ouvir a seguinte frase. The songs capitalized on the contemporary disco dance fad. A última palavra selecionada é um verbo que é o yield. Yield significa produzir, gerar ou render. A frase que vocês vão ouvir é a seguinte. The record yielded 2 hits, You Are Not Alone, and his duet with his sister Janet Jackson, Scream. Vamos então agora à biografia resumida de Michael Jackson. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29, 1958 in Indiana in the USA. Michael Jackson was the youngest and most talented of 5 brothers, whom his father, Joseph, shaped into an extraordinary group of child stars known as the Jackson 5. At first, the Jackson family performers consisted of Jackson's older brothers, Tito, Jermaine, and Jackie. Jackson joined his siblings when he was 5 years old and emerged as the group's lead vocalist. He showed remarkable range and depth for such a young performer, impressing audience with his ability to convey complex emotions. Older brother Marlon also became a member of the group, which evolved into the Jackson 5. Jackson and his brothers spent endless hours rehearsing and polishing their act. Michael said his father told him he had a fat nose and regularly physically and emotionally abused him during rehearsals. He recalled that his father often sat in a chair with a belt in his hand as he and his siblings rehearsed, ready to physically punish any mistakes.
I'm wondering if when you started to go through adolescence, having been, this child superstar,
Yes.
Was that a particularly difficult time for you?
Very, very, very difficult.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. How so?
Because I think every child star suffers through this period because you're not the cute and charming child that you were, and you start to grow. And they want to keep you young forever and little forever.
Who's they?
The public.
Mm-hmm.
And, nature takes its course.
Mm-hmm.
And
it does.
And I had pimples so badly, and it made me so shy. I used to not look at myself. I'd wash my face in the dark. I wouldn't want to look in the mirror.
Really?
And my father teased me, and I just hated it. I cried every day because of it.
Your father would tease you about your pimples?
Yes, he would tell me I'm ugly.
Your father would say
Yes,
that?
he would. Sorry, Joseph.
Yeah. What's your relationship like with him?
I love my father, but I don't know him.
Mm-hmm. Are you angry with him for doing that? I think that's pretty cruel, actually.
Am I angry with him?
Because adolescence is hard enough without a parent telling you that you're ugly.
It's very difficult. Am I angry with him? Sometimes I do get angry, yes. I don't know him the way I'd like to know him. My mother's wonderful. To me, she's perfection. I just wish I could understand my father.
And so let's talk about these teen years. What is that when you started to go inside yourself? Because obviously you haven't spoken to to the world for, 14 years, I think is your last televised interview. So you went inside, you became a recluse, and that was on purpose. Was it to protect yourself?
I felt that there wasn't anything important for me to say. And those were very sad years for me. And
why so sad? Because on stage we see you performing, you're getting your Grammys. Why so sad?
Oh, there's a lot of sadness about my past life and, adolescence and my father and all of those things. It just made me very, very, very sad.
So he would tease you, make fun of you?
Yes.
Did he ever beat you?
Yes.
He did.
Yes.
And that was difficult to take, getting beaten and going on stage and performing.
Yes.
And why would he beat you?
Because he saw me, he wanted me to, I guess maybe, I don't know if I was his golden child or whatever it was. Some may call it a strict disciplinarian or whatever, but he was very strict, very hard, very stern. And just a look would scare you, and...
Were you scared of him?
Very frightened. There's been times when he'd come to see me and I would get sick.
Really?
I'd start to regurgitate.
As a child or as an adult?
Both.
Both.
He's never heard me say this. I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me.
Motown Records president Berry Gordy Jr. was impressed with the group and signed them in 1969. Jackson and his brothers moved to Los Angeles, where they lived with Gordy and with Diana Ross of the Supremes, as they got settled. The Jackson 5 was introduced to the music industry at a special event in August 1969, and the group later opened for the Supremes. Their first album, Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5, hit the charts in December 1969, with its single, I Want You Back, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart shortly afterward. More chart-topping singles quickly followed, such as ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There. For several years, Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 maintained a busy tour and recording schedule, under the supervision of Berry Gordy and his Motown staff. The group became so popular that they even had their own self-titled cartoon show, which ran from 1971 to 1972. At the same time, Jackson launched his solo career. Despite the group's great success, there was trouble behind the scenes. Tensions grew between Gordy and Joseph Jackson over the management of his children's careers, with the Jacksons wanting more creative control over their material. The group officially cut ties with Motown in 1976, though Jermaine Jackson remained with the label to follow his solo career. Now calling themselves the Jacksons, the group signed a new recording deal with Epic Records. By the release of their third album for the label, 1978's Destiny, the brothers had emerged as talented songwriters. The positive response to Michael Jackson's 1979 solo album Off the Wall helped the Jacksons as a group. Their album Triumph sold more than 1 million copies, and the brothers went on an extensive tour. At the same time, Michael Jackson continued exploring more ways to expand on his own. Off the Wall exceeded all expectations and was the best-selling album of the year. It eventually sold more than 20 million copies. Produced by industry veteran Quincy Jones, Off the Wall yielded the massive international hit singles Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You, both of which showcased Michael's energetic style and capitalized on the contemporary disco dance fad. 3 years later, he returned with another collaboration with Jones, Thriller, a great accomplishment that featured a large number of guest stars and elevated him into worldwide superstardom. Thriller captured a lot of awards, including a record-setting 8 Grammys, remained on the charts for more than 2 years, and sold more than 40 million copies, long holding the distinction of being the best-selling album in history. The first single on the album, The Girl Is Mine, an easygoing duet with Paul McCartney, went to number 1 on the rhythm and blues charts and number 2 on the pop charts in the fall of 1982. Jackson filmed an elaborate music video for the album's title track. John Landis directed the horror video clip, which featured complex dance scenes, special effects, and a voiceover by actor Vincent Price. The Thriller video was an immense success, boosting sales for the already successful record. On a 1983 television special honoring Motown, Jackson performed his number 1 hit, Billie Jean, and debuted his soon-to-be famous dance move, the moonwalk. Jackson, a veteran performer by this time, created this step himself and choreographed the dance sequences for the video of the album's other number 1 hit, Beat It, which helped to break down the artificial barriers between black and white artists on the radio and in the emerging format of music videos on television.
Well, the moonwalk came from these beautiful children, these black kids who live in the ghettos and, the inner cities, who are brilliant. They just have that natural talent for dancing. Any of the new the Running Man, any of these dances, they come up with these dances. All I did was enhance the dance. Okay.
Michael Jackson was filming a staged concert performance for a new advertising campaign by Pepsi with members of his family when sparks from a pyrotechnic explosion ignited his hair. Jackson briefly continued performing, then hurried to the back of the set, where he was pushed to the ground and extinguished by stage hands and his brothers. The singer was initially taken to a hospital, where he was noted to be quite shaken up, with palm-sized area of 2nd degree and a small area of 3rd degree burns. His wounds were treated, and then he was given a number of different painkillers and prescribed a powerful sedative to calm his nerves and help him sleep. By 1984, Jackson was renowned worldwide as the King of Pop. His much-anticipated Victory Union tour with his brothers was one of the most popular concert events of 1984. In 1985, Jackson and Lionel Rich co-wrote We Are the World, the signature single for USA for Africa, an all-star project aimed at famine relief. His following album, Bad, produced 5 chart-topping hits. The album included Man in the Mirror, The Way You Make Me Feel, and the title track. Jackson spent more than a year on the road playing concerts to promote the album. While highly successful, Bad was unable to duplicate the phenomenal sales of Thriller. In 1991, Jackson released Dangerous, featuring the hit Black or White. The video for this song included an appearance by child star Macaulay Culkin. In the video's final minutes, Jackson caused some controversy with his sexual gesturing and violent actions. Many were surprised to see the Peter Pan-like Jackson act in this manner. Jackson's music continued to enjoy widespread popularity in the following years.
In the past month, I've gone from where is he to here he is again. But I must confess it feels good to be thought of as a person, not as a personality. Because I don't read all the things written about me. I wasn't aware that the world thought I was so weird and bizarre. But when you grow up, as I did, in front of 100 million people since the age of 5, you're automatically different. The last few weeks, I have been cleansing myself, and it's been a rebirth for myself. It's like a cleansing spirit. I love you too. My childhood was completely taken away from me. There was no Christmas, there was no birthdays. It was not a normal childhood, no normal pleasures of childhood. Those were exchanged for hard work, struggle, and pain, and eventual material and professional success. But as an awful price, I cannot recreate that part of my life, nor would I change any part of my life. However, today, when I create my music, I feel like an instrument of nature. I wonder what delight nature must feel when we open our hearts and express our God-given talents. The sound of approval rolls across the universe, and the whole world abounds in magic. Wonder fills our hearts for what we have glimpsed for an instant, the playfulness of life. And that's why I love children and learn so much from being around them. I realize that many of our world's problems today, from the inner city crime to large-scale wars and terrorism and our overcrowded prisons, are a result of the fact that children have had their childhood stolen from them. The magic, the wonder, the mystery, and the innocence of a child's heart are the seeds of creativity that will heal the world. I really believe that. What we I love you too. What we need to learn from children isn't childish. Being with them connects us to the deeper wisdom of life, which is ever present and only asked to be lived. They know the way to solutions that lie waiting to be recognized within our own hearts. Today, I would like to thank all the children of the world, including the sick and deprived. I am so sensitive to your pain. I also want to thank all those who have helped me to channel my talent here on earth. From the beginning, my parents, all my brothers and sisters.
In 1993, he performed at several important events, including the halftime show of Super Bowl XVII. Jackson's musical career began to decline with the unenthusiastic reception to 1995's History, Past, Present, and Future Book 1, which featured some of his earlier hits, as well as new material. The record yielded 2 hits, You Are Not Alone, and his duet with sister Janet Jackson, Scream. They Don't Care About Us is the 5th single of the album and brought Jackson intense criticism for using an anti-Semitic term. It was accompanied by 2 music videos directed by Spike Lee. The first was shot in 2 locations in Brazil, in Pelourinho, the historic city center of Salvador, and in a favela of Rio de Janeiro called Dona Marta, where the state authorities had tried to ban all production over fears the video would damage their image, the area, and prospects of Rio de Janeiro staging the 2004 Olympics. Still, the residents of the area were happy to see the singer, hoping their problems would be made visible to a wider audience. The second video was shot in a prison and contained video footage of multiple references to human rights abuses. Invincible was Michael Jackson's last studio album, released in 2001, before his death in 2009. An extensive and laborious album to make, Jackson started the multi-genre production in 1997 and did not finish until 8 weeks before the album's release. It was reported that it cost $30 million to make the album, making it the most expensive album ever made. there was no concert tour to promote Invincible. A tour was planned, but cancelled due to conflicts between Jackson and Sony Music Entertainment. Following Sony's decision to abruptly end promotion for the album, Jackson made allegations in July 2002 that Tommy Mottola was a devil and a racist who did not support his African American artists but used them for personal gain. Jackson's eccentric, secluded lifestyle grew increasingly controversial in the early 1990s. His reputation was seriously damaged in 1993 when he was accused of child molestation by a 13-year-old boy he had befriended. A civil suit was settled out of court. In 1994, Jackson secretly married Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of Elvis Presley, but their marriage lasted less than 2 years. Shortly after that, Jackson married again, this marriage producing children, though it also ended in divorce. While he remained an international celebrity, his image in the United States was slow to recover, and it suffered even more in November 2003, when he was arrested and charged with child molestation. After a 14-week trial that became something of a media circus, Jackson was found innocent in 2005. In the wake of these events, Jackson suffered a financial collapse that resulted in the sale of many of his considerable assets, including, ultimately, his Neverland Ranch. He was preparing for a series of high-profile concerts he hoped would spark a comeback when he died suddenly of cardiac arrest on June 25, 2009, prompting a widespread outpouring of grief from his fans.
We're getting some breaking news coming into the situation right now from about Michael Jackson, the king of pop, who's 50 years old. Let's go to Deborah Farrick. She's working the story for us. What are we picking up, Deb?
Well, Wolf, here's what we can tell you. This is what's being reported by KTLA. Apparently, Michael Jackson suffered cardiac arrest this afternoon. He was rushed to UCLA Medical Center.
At 12:21 this afternoon, the Los Angeles 911 operators took a call in regards to a need for a medical emergency at the 100 block of Candlewood Drive, which is in West Los Angeles. When the paramedics got on scene, they treated the patient and then immediately transported the patient to UCLA.
We just talked to Brian Oxman. He is the family attorney for the Jackson, and he says that according to Randy Jackson, Michael Jackson's brother, Michael Jackson collapsed in his home in West Los Angeles this morning, and they called paramedics. He says that the family is either at UCLA Medical Center or en route to UCLA Medical Center.
CNN sources are now saying, multiple sources, that Michael Jackson is in a coma at UCLA Medical Center, suffered from cardiac arrest, and is now in a coma.
If you look at the aerials that you're showing on air and you see the number of people that have already gathered outside the hospital, if that isn't testament to the star power of Michael Jackson, I don't know what is.
And we're just getting this in right now, and it's very, very sad news. Jim Moret, and to all of our viewers, both the Los Angeles Times and CBS News are both now reporting that Michael Jackson has died. Now, CNN has not confirmed that, but the LA Times and CBS News are reporting that Michael Jackson, 50 years old, the king of pop, has died. A very, very sad moment.
What was Michael Jackson doing in Los Angeles before he was taken to the hospital? What new information do you have for us?
Well, we do know that he's been in Los Angeles preparing to undertake this major concert event that he was scheduled to perform in London this coming summer.
I have to stop you for a second, AJ. CNN can now confirm from the LA coroner that Michael Jackson is dead.
In August 2009, the coroner ruled Jackson's death a homicide. The cause was a lethal combination of sedatives and propofol, an anesthetic. In November 2011, Jackson's personal physician was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. This Is It was a planned concert residency to take place at the O2 Arena in London between 2009 and 2010. However, the concerts never took place, as the singer died on June 25, 2009. The documentary film This Is It, which drew from more than 100 hours of footage, compiled during rehearsals for Jackson's scheduled 50th concert comeback engagement in London, premiered in October 2009.
These will be my final show performances in London. This will be it. This is it. And when I say this is it, it really means this is it. Because I'll be performing the songs my fans want to hear. This is it. I mean, this is really it. This is the final curtain call. Okay? And I'll see you in July. I love you. I really do. You have to know that. I love you so much. Really. From the bottom of my heart. This is it. And see you in July.
Thanks for listening. You can send me suggestions on Twitter, Instagram, or by voice message. Also, follow us on your favorite streaming platform to check out for the next episode. On ingleseverywherepodcast.wordpress.com, you can have some further information about our show episodes, including transcripts. See ya!